Good evening, Dr. Magombe. Dr. Magombe, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. I can hear you.
I hope that you were following your fellow panelists' response. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, please.
What about you, your reaction to the referendum in Rwanda that essentially guarantees, in fact, that Kagame may very well be the next president for Rwanda for a generation at least?
Well, first of all, I must say my colleagues, Rwandese people, are best placed to comment specifically about Kagame and Rwanda. I think that this is important for me as a Ugandan because it has reverberations. It has sort of cross-country impacts that we can see and we can comment on. So, for example, you know, we talk about Kagame going for this third term and perhaps afterwards take away the limits, you know, forever. The godfather in the region, the godfather of third term is Mr. Museveni of Uganda. He's the one who started it. And in fact, let me just tell you what I've been hearing from sources within Uganda and across the region. They say if Museveni wasn't there today, perhaps Kagame wouldn't be doing what he's doing, Kabila wouldn't be doing what he's doing, because he's almost like a godfather. They are all looking at him saying, well, if Museveni can do it, if Museveni can stay in power this long and is trying to continue now after 30 years, then why should we give up?
It is very interesting because you remind me of an analogy where someone once said that in such a situation, then Museveni would be the tutor and Kagame perhaps would be the pupil?
Actually, it's more than that. It's not just the tutor. The tutor is a wonderful word. It's a kind word. He's the enforcer. He's the emperor, the regional emperor. We have seen he has used force in Rwanda, force in Congo, force in South Sudan, and so on. And all these places, he's going there to try and establish non-democratic sort of visions. Now, let me tell you, first of all, as far as I'm concerned, referendums like this are just what you call, just like the elections themselves that we hold. We held them in Uganda several times, referendum and so on. They're just politically engineered electoral fraud. You know, I don't want to go into this idea of how many numbers because, you know, when a dictator is in power, you know, always, as my friend from Rwanda said, they just say, well, this is what we want to be the percentage. But from an ideological point of view, there are ideological definitions of things happening now in Rwanda, Uganda, and all these countries. These third-termism, and actually beyond third term, when they then take away the terms all along, are methods of entrenching personal rule, individual rule, family rule, authoritarian, despotic sort of political governance infrastructure on the people, eliminating political opposition, eliminating people of countries to try and have the right to choose leaders that they want. We have seen it in Uganda right now. They're organizing elections supposed to be in February. But if you see what is happening, the sinister way in which the regime of President Museveni is handling these elections. Just today, they almost assassinated one of the leaders, Dr. Kizza Besigye, in the eastern Ugandan part of Sebei. We have seen Mr. Amama Mbabazi, another opposition leader. Since yesterday, the other day, his people are being beaten. They are really facing very hard times. So they are not elections. These are not referendums. These are just sort of fashion shows, political fashion shows to bring credence to constitutional fraud that they are doing.
So are you in agreement with some who would in fact say that it reminds them of what used to happen in the Soviet Union and someone called Comrade Joseph Stalin, who used to say that he wasn't really bothered about who was coming to vote for him, but rather about the person, the people that were counting the vote?
Exactly. I would say Museveni is just our mini Stalin, you know, a Stalin of Uganda. For example, he has said many times he's not going to hand over power to people who are sort of political talk agents who didn't fight the war. He fought for it. He's the one supposed to eat the beef of the captured animal from the forest. Now, Stalin is a very good example to explain, because it shows that with these types of dictators, you cannot have elections to take them off power. In Uganda today, there is no way Museveni is going to be taken off through these elections in February. The only way he's going to be taken off is when people who are now being mobilized very well by people like Kizza Besigye and others are actually empowered with knowledge that they can change the fate of their country, the destiny of their country, through a Burkina Faso type of popular uprising. And I think that we have seen some soundings that this is going on right now in Uganda. I'm one of those who is very sympathetic to the opposition, the people anti-regime forces, and we are working together to make sure that this time President Museveni has to understand people are getting ready and they will have to force him off power, because we cannot change peacefully through elections. If he wants to go peacefully, be a gentleman, be a father of the nation, be respected, go back to the farm and look after his cattle, and we'll look after him, let him realize that he cannot play the same games he has been playing for many years now.
I see. Well, as a journalist, Vincent, I have to confess that I had thought that you were not necessarily sympathetic to the opposition, but perhaps to social justice. With that, let's go to Willis.
Well,
we'll come back to you later.
You're right. You're right.
What
drives me is social justice.
Thank you.
Thank you.